Hi everyone, my name is Asad Ahmad, and in this video I will be discussing the Millennium Development Goals and the Sustainable Development Goals. In advanced placement high school courses and early college level courses, global development is a topic that usually is covered if there is time in the curriculum. As global citizens and the future decision makers of this world, to whatever capacity that may be, we need to be a bit more well versed in current global development topics. I hope this two-part video series gives you a general understanding of the Millennium Development Goals, the Sustainable Development Goals, poverty alleviation, and how all of this is imperative and dependent upon the empowerment and the involvement of adolescents. So, voices around the world are demanding leadership in 2015, right, on poverty, inequality, and climate change. These universal challenges demand global action, and this year presents unprecedented opportunities for achieving the future that we want. So this September, world leaders will gather at the United Nations in New York to adopt a new agenda for sustainable development. These new global sustainable development goals, also known as the SDGs, will guide policy and funding for the next 15 years, beginning with a historic pledge to end poverty everywhere permanently. This also is a deadline for the Millennium Development Goals. So it's a deadline for that. So 2015 is a deadline for that, which in September of 2000 rallied the world around a common 15-year agenda to tackle the indignity of poverty. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Millennium Development Goals, I'm going to explain them now. So the MDGs, in September of 2000, building upon a decade of major United Nations conferences and summits, world leaders came together at the United Nations headquarters in New York to adopt the United Nations Millennium Declaration. The declaration committed nations to a new global partnership to reduce extreme poverty and set out a series of 8 goals which were time-bound, so by 2015, that have become to be known as the Millennium Development Goals. So what are the Millennium Development Goals? The 8 MDGs. They are 1. To eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. 2 is to achieve universal primary education. Number 3 is to promote gender equality and to empower women. Number 4 is to reduce child mortality. And it's really important to note that there has been significant progress. Child mortality prior to the MDGs was 34,000 and now is 17,000. So there has been significant progress. Number 5, improve maternal health. Number 6, to combat HIV/AIDS, malaria, and other diseases such as polio. Number 7 is to ensure environmental sustainability. And number 8 is to develop a global partnership for development. Now, to date, the MDGs have made a profound difference in the people's lives, and so to name some development, as I had mentioned before, 34,000 children dying every day to 17,000. Global poverty was halved 5 years ahead of the 2015 timeframe. And the target of having the population of people who lack access to improved sources of water was met. So, development has definitely occurred. The concerted efforts of national governments, the international community, civil society, and private sector have really helped expand hope and opportunity for people around the world, but it's important to note that the job is unfinished for millions of people. We need to go the last mile on ending hunger, on achieving full gender equality, on improving health services, and getting every child into school. We must shift the world into a sustainable path. The proposed Global Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, as we had talked about, will guide funding and policy for the next 15 years. So that's really post-2015. So the MDGs were really the 2000 through 2015. So in a sense, we kind of are done with the MDGs, and now we have to focus on the SDGs. So what is the post-2015 Sustainable Development Agenda? That's really the next question that we have. So the new post-2015 Development Agenda builds on the Millennium Development Goals. So the 8 anti-poverty targets that the world committed to achieving by 2015. The enormous progress has been made by or on the MDGs, showing that the value of unifying agenda underpinned by goals and targets. But despite the success, the indignity of poverty has not ended for all, and the members of the UN are now in process of defining the Sustainable Development Goals as part of the new agenda to finish the job of the MDGs. So what are the proposed SDGs? So the proposed SDGs. They are 1, to end poverty in all its forms. Number 2, to end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Number 3 is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Number 4 is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Number 5 is gender equality and empower all women and girls. Number 6 is to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Number 7 is to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy. Number 8 is to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. So economic growth. Number 9 is to build resilient infrastructure. Build infrastructure to promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and ultimately to foster innovation. Number 10 is to reduce inequality. Within and among countries. Number 11 is to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Number 12 is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. So production patterns. Alright, so it's almost 10 minutes, guys, so we're going to stop here, and we're going to continue in part 2 with the proposed SDGs. So please look for part 2 of the video so we can continue. Thanks.